on, shifting our focus, India gets a new CDS. General NS Raja Subramani has officially taken charge as India's Chief of Defence Staff, stepping into one of the most critical leadership roles in the country's national security. The new CDS has outlined his vision for the future of the Indian Armed Forces and emphasized a commitment to the deeper tri-services integration, the reforms and self-reliance in the defence sector. Expressing gratitude for the trust reposed in the armed forces by the countrymen, General Subramani has said that Indian Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Ministry of Defence and the institutions would work together under a whole-of-the-nation approach to strengthen the India's security. The new CDS also said that his tenure would be guided by Prime Minister Modi's vision of jointness, Atmanirbhar Bharat and innovation as well. He also identified organizational transformation, greater jointness among the three services and also structural reforms as the key priorities going forward. Let me go across to my colleague Mayank, who's been tracking all the details. Mayank, new Chief of Defence Staff has taken the charge today. Do tell us more about him and also how crucial this is.
It's a very important position actually. Chief of Defence Staff is actually one of the senior most positions and the senior most uniformed personnel of the country, and he's a 4-star general. And he takes charge, as you have already brought out, Akansha, at the time when integration and synergy is being propped up and is being encouraged in the armed forces, and India is going through one of the biggest transformation post independence, which is India is organizing its all the military, Army, Navy and Air Force and integrating them into integrated theatre commands. That's what the position is. But then richness of experience. He was Chief of Staff of Northern Command, which handles both China and Pakistan borders. He was the Army Commander of Central Command, which is now handling the northern borders. Then he came as Vice Chief, who looks after the future of the Indian Army. And then he went as a military advisor to the National Security Advisor, who advises or shapes up the strategic thoughts of the country. And he's now CDS. CDS is the one who's going to preside over the future planning and the modernization of the armed forces, apart from the postings and promotions of the armed forces, all three armed forces minded. And CDS is the one, very important, he's the principal advisor to the to the defense minister on all the things which is related to Army, Navy and Air Force and the defense of the country. So this is how the significance of the position is. And India is passing through a phase wherein modernization has become the very important plan, in which indigenization is going to be the underlined factor. And it is CDS who will be presiding over lots of policies, because integration is yet to take place, and theatre command is, which our senior officers have been saying, and previous CDS, which is General Chauhan, said that almost 90% of the work on theatre commands have been completed, and in that Army, Navy and Air Force under one theatre commander will be operating into one geographical area. So what you see as a flux at the international level, here we see General NS Subramani taking charge as the CDS, which is the third CDS of the country. Akansha?
Absolutely, Mayank. In fact, in his career spanning over 40 years, he has served across a wide spectrum of the conflict areas as well. Mayank, tell us more about that as well.
He belongs to Garhwal Regiment, which is based in the hills of foothills of Uttarakhand. And as I said, he was Chief of Staff of Northern Army, Northern Command, which happens to look after the areas like Eastern Ladakh, which also looks after the line of control. And mind it, Eastern Ladakh had been facing lots of issues as far as at line of actual control, as far as mobilization of the forces between India and China is concerned. He was handling that sensitive position. And then he came to Central Command as the Commander-in-Chief of the Central Command, which is going to look after the middle sector of line of actual control. Line of actual control, which is almost 3,488 kilometers, it is divided into three sectors. And mind it, he was presiding over one of the most important section of it, which is Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. And then he was the Vice Chief of Indian Army. Vice Chief looks after the future prospects, future planning, and how the military will shape up in next 5, 10, 15 years. He presided over that. So what you see is actually he'll be having insight of lots of things which are going to take place as part of the modernization. That's
All
why
right,
his
so that
position-
will remain the key focus. He has taken charge of a Chief of Defence Staff, stepping into one of the most critical leadership roles in the country's national security. Stay on with us, Mayank. I'll come back to you once again. Let's listen in to what he said.
And Suprabhat, I'm honored to assume charge as the Chief of Defence Staff. We are grateful to the nation for the trust reposed in the armed forces. We, the Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, Ministry of Defence, strategic institutions, and all stakeholders stand united as part of the whole of nation approach to strengthen India's security. We are committed to implement the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Jai, jointness, Atmanirbhar and innovation. Transformation of the armed forces and organizational reforms to enhance jointness, synergy and integration will be the primary focus. Atmanirbhar is a central pillar of our national security. We will accelerate the development, induction and integration of indigenous weapons in our armed forces. Innovation in thought and action will drive our capability development. Greater collaboration between the military, the industry, academia, startups and the research ecosystem will be the key enabler for modernization. Our armed forces have consistently demonstrated professionalism and operational decisiveness in safeguarding our national interests. We are committed to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our country. I express my sincere gratitude to late General Bipin Rawat and General Anil Chauhan, my illustrious predecessors, for their exemplary leadership and contribution in this journey. We acknowledge the courage and professionalism of our soldiers, sailors and air warriors. Their training and welfare will be our foremost priority. We pay homage to our brave hearts whose valor, sacrifice and dedication to the nation continue to inspire us. We are committed to the welfare of our veterans and Veer Naris. I assure the citizens of India that the armed forces will continue to serve the nation with dedication, courage, honor and professionalism. Jai.
And with this, a short break. More news and updates on the other side. And now you can also watch Times Now and Times Play, available on all the app stores. Thank you so much for watching.